Apparently, I'm not up to the standards of my rich fiance's grandmother, because apparently I'm not as high class as her. Guys, I have a plan that's going to get me away from her, and it doesn't matter what she thinks she's going to do about it, I will win. Have you also been in a situation where your in-laws just won't accept you, no matter what you do, and would go to any extent to get rid of you? Well, that's currently the case with me. My fiance's grandmother, his own family, is trying her best to break off our engagement just because I'm not as rich as them. I think I am getting a bit ahead of myself though. Let me get into the mess that is my life in more detail. Hi, I'm Josie, and lately my life has been turning from a happily ever after to a mere tragedy. It's been so bad for the past few weeks, but it wasn't always like this. I finally had a life that I had been dreaming of for a very, very long time. And after years of struggling, I finally got a decent job as an accountant. And to add to my happiness, as soon as I started working there, I met Carter, my fiancé. It was perfect. We clicked from the very time that we met, so it wasn't a very hard decision for me when he proposed to me 2 months back. That is when I met his grandmother, Kate, for the first time after me and Carter got engaged. She's the only family Carter has, as his parents died in a car crash some years back, and he doesn't have any siblings, and the rest of their extended family is just not in touch with him. So, he is pretty close to his grandma and wanted me to get along with her. But things could not have been going any more worse. From the moment I met Kate, she just looked sort of disgusted by my presence and did not leave any chance to let me know of it. Although she's careful about not showing her true self in front of Carter, in his presence she becomes as sweet as sugar, but when he's not around, she's just a bitter woman. All of this started when Carter told her that I was an accountant and my parents ran a small bakery. Since then, there's this air of dislike for me that reflects right off of her. I accept the fact that I'm not a rich or successful business person like Carter or her, and she's been running a chain of businesses since after the death of Carter's grandfather. His grandfather was the one who started the business, and it just grew from there. Carter helps her in the business, but he also owns his independent firm, so the family was super rich in this sense. But that doesn't mean you'd undermine people who work hard to earn a decent living, right? Carter has never made me feel inferior to him in any way or just because he earned more than me. But Kate, on the other hand, has never left an opportunity to demean me. You won't believe what she told me right after I met her. Just after 2 days of meeting her, she asked to meet me in private without Carter even being there, and I felt like this might be the chance for me to impress her, but it was the total opposite of what I had hoped. She told me that she knew girls like me very well who were just swarming around, trying to catch a rich guy in their trap so they could live off their money without doing anything, and told me that I was no match for her rich grandson because I was just a middle-class accountant. So basically, she was calling me a gold digger and low standards in her own sweet way. She even went ahead and told me that she would not let me trap her grandson, and the same trap I should leave Carter as long as she gave me the chance to go away from him harmlessly. I was honestly so shocked I couldn't even react. Well, but I would say obviously, I wasn't going to leave Carter because his grandma thought I was a gold digger. She just threatened me further that either I can go on my own free will or she's going to force me to leave. I ignored this at first. I did not even tell Carter about the same, thinking that this would just hurt his feelings or might create a rift in their bond. I knew how much he valued his grandmother, and I did not want to be the person who tries to steal their partners from their family. So I kept quiet, but boy, was she not kidding when she said that she would make it worse for me. She tried everything in her power, and even went out of her way to trouble me and force me to leave Carter. Or maybe she intended for Carter to leave me so that her grandson would not be heartbroken, while she could also get rid of me at the same time. Firstly, she tried to torture me by overworking and insulting me every time. Carter was not present, and she had asked us to live with her for a few weeks before we got married, and obviously, her devoted grandson could not refuse her, so currently, we are living in her mansion. And you won't believe who she just invited for a stay over at the house. Like, I knew she was evil, but this was just absolutely insane. She invited Ruby, Carter's ex-girlfriend. She was his childhood best friend turned lover and is the daughter of one of Kate's business partners, so obviously she would think that Ruby was a better match for Carter than me, as she had the money and the power that I lacked. But I could not believe that she would cross her limits and invite her into the same house as her ex-boyfriend and his fiancée. Does this woman have no sense at all? Even Carter was taken back when he saw Ruby at the doorstep yesterday morning. But when he asked Kate about why she was here, Kate simply told him that Ruby's mansion was going through some renovations, and it'd be rude to let the daughter of such a good friend and business partner live in a hotel while her father was away. So she told Ruby that she could stay here for a few days. I knew this was not the truth. She must be scheming that if Ruby and Carter were under the same roof, they might get a chance to rekindle their old flame over my dead body. While I'm at this house, I won't let Ruby even near Carter. It feels like Ruby knows all about this plan and is all in, trying to win her ex-boyfriend back, as since the moment she got here, she has not stopped trying to be close to Carter at all. I appreciate that Carter is maintaining his distance, but he could have said something else to his grandmother about, well, this, and he worships her like an idol, and can't even think about questioning her. Well, I'm the one suffering through all this. It's just plain torture, watching my fiancé's ex-lover trying to win him back. Carter tells me simply not to worry about it, but how can I not worry about it when I know the true intentions of his grandmother? Now, I regret not telling him about the whole thing in the first place. I should have told him of how Kate has been treating me for the past few weeks, and all this is just a scheme to separate the two of us. I'm so confused. Should I tell him? But he literally worships his grandma. Would he believe me over his grandmother? Top comments from the first post. Comment number 1 says, "Dude, I don't know what you're waiting for, but you should definitely tell your fiancé about all this, or else it's going to be too late. Judging from her actions, your fiancé's grandmother does not look like someone who will give up easily. I'd be cautious of that Ruby girl. Sounds like some bad news." Comment number 2. I can understand Kate's reservations about Josie. She clearly cares deeply for her grandson and wants to ensure his future happiness. Introducing Ruby may have been overstepping, but Kate likely felt it was in Carter's best interest. Rather than escalating tensions, a measured approach may be the best. Update number 1. Hey guys, it's been 2 days since I last wrote to you and I took your advice, but before that, I've been getting so many mean comments telling me that I was the one who was overreacting to the whole situation and that I actually am a gold digger. Well, I have a decent job of my own, thank you, and can afford all my expenses with that. I don't even ask for money from Carter because I'm not somebody who spends money extravagantly. As coming from a middle-class family, I believe more in savings than money, spending it unnecessarily. Yet, if any of you feel like I am the one at fault here or might be lying about the same, then that's your problem, not mine. Now, getting into it. As most of you said, I should have told my fiancé before, and even now, it's not too late to tell him. So I did exactly that, and he reacted exactly the same as I expected him to. He didn't believe me. He straight away told me that I might be misunderstanding the situation, and he thought I was just being insecure about it, as Ruby was living with us, and that might have led me to believe that his grandmother was after it. Of course he did not believe me. I had some hope that he might, but I don't blame him. Kate is an entirely different person in front of him. He literally worships the woman as he feels that he owes everything to her, because she's the one who single-handedly brought him up after his parents' demise. So, it's very hard to convince him of her true colors. We even got into a little argument as he went on and accused me of not trusting him enough, me being upset over him not believing me. However, one good thing did come out of this whole mess. Carter believed I was being insecure due to Ruby's presence, so he told Kate that either we were going to be in the house or Ruby. Kate tried her best to persuade Carter to let Ruby stay, but as Carter was very persistent, she had no other option than to reluctantly let Ruby leave the house. I was so satisfied by this that I blocked yet another attempt to Kate to break me and Carter. In spite of the few hiccups in the way, we were still going strong, and I didn't think anything she could do would break us up. I hoped that now she would just give rest to her evil scheming and plotting, but just after Ruby left, she told me that even though it may feel like I was the one winning right now, she was not done with me, and I would have to pay for getting her grandson against her. Well, I don't know what she means by that, and I want to know what she is going on in that evil mind of hers. What new evil plan is she plotting? And how do I get this woman to leave me alone? I don't know how much more of this torture I can take. This constant fighting and thinking about what she'll do next is getting very tiring. I want to put an end to this once and for all, and I just want to expose her in front of Carter, so he can see her for the double-faced jerk that she really is. But I don't know how to do that. Can you guys just please suggest what should I do next? Update number 2. Guys, you won't believe what the heck Kate did. It's been 2 weeks since Ruby got out of our lives for good, and everything was going well until she pulled this stupid thing. I know she's the one after this, and I can be sure, because no one else in my life wants to separate me and Carter this badly. And this time, well, she's succeeded. Carter asked me to leave the house in his rage, and I'm currently at my cousin's place, trying to convince him and tell him the truth. I'm so sorry. I think I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm so miserable right now. So, this morning a strange man appeared at our doorstep like a bombshell, and every shed of my happiness exploded with it. And guessed what he told everybody? That we've been seeing each other for the past month. Would you believe it? I was shocked when I saw pictures he presented of us being cozy together. He told everyone that I promised him that I would marry him soon enough once I got some money out from Carter. I could not believe this. The picture looked so realistic, and he had all the messages of me supposedly flirting with him. And it all looked bad, as if I had actually cheated on Carter with that man. This was a very extreme thing even for Kate to do, and all I could see was the fury in Carter's eyes. He asked the men to hand over the pictures and leave the house right at that moment. I was so confused about what was happening. I was too stunned to even speak, and the worst part of it all was Carter believed it all and dropped us right into the trap that Kate had set up for us. He became so angry and asked me right away to leave the mansion while handing me his engagement ring. I was numb. The tears just started spilling from my eyes, and I did not know what to do anymore. Kate just fueled the fire further with her remarks and said that she always suspected me of not being the right one for Carter. She even went ahead and told me that I've taken advantage of her innocent grandson and used him for his money. All this time, Carter kept standing by her side with the rage in his eyes. I could not understand what to do. I finally gathered some courage to speak, but all I could say was that I did not know the man, and all this was Kate's schemes to break the two of us apart. This got Carter even angrier, and he started shouting at me about how I'm always playing the blame game, and putting all the blame on his grandmother, who is a pure saint. I could see the satisfied smile on Kate's face, who was standing behind Carter, and I don't even blame Carter. The pictures look so realistic, and if I found out that he cheated on me, I would have been angry too. But at that moment, I just wished that I had a way to tell him that it was not the case for him to trust me and just believe my words. But he was not ready to even listen to me. He just told me to leave and that I could get my stuff later. With this, he went inside the house. I could not even move, that's how miserable I was, and then there was Kate standing there, looking like she had won the biggest game in her life. She came to me and said, "You could have just left when I gave you the chance, but now he won't just leave you, but he'll hate you all his life." She said all this with the expression of, I told you so on her face. I knew she was the one behind this. and I was just shattered, and I could not believe me and Carter were on the verge of being separated just because I was not rich enough for his grandmother. Then she added that at last favor to me, she was lending me her car, which could drop me wherever I wanted, but all she wanted was for me to get the hell out of her house and her grandson's life. I could not understand anything, so I just called my cousin and asked her if I could stay at her place for a bit. She agreed without any second thought, and in case you're thinking if I did not have a house of my own, then let me tell you that I do have a house of my own, but it's been rented since I've been living with Carter, and I just can't tell the tenants to vacate the house all of a sudden, just because I needed a place to stay. And I didn't want to be alone tonight, so I didn't want to be in a hotel. And that's how I ended up here in my cousin's house crying and thinking about how I can get my love back. I can't simply let his evil grandmother win. But guys, what exactly should I do? I mean, I've tried calling Carter so many times, but he's not even ready to hear my voice, let alone see my face. What should I do? How can I save my engagement? Update number 3. Hey guys, it's been about a month since all the chaos unfolded in my life, and so much has happened since then. Firstly, for all the people who were concerned about my relationship, thanks a lot, but no, we did not break up. I was able to convince him that those pictures were fake and it was all just a setup. Although, he still does not believe completely that his grandmother was the one after it, but still, he has started being suspicious towards her, and now all I need to do is show him her real side. And then that problem will be solved forever. Secondly, the tables have turned entirely, like overnight. But first, let me get into how I actually convinced Carter that I was not actually cheating on him. So, I got some of his pictures photoshopped with some other woman exactly as mine were with the guy. I also told him that the guy must have been a paid actor or something, but it was all certainly a trap to separate us, as I would never do anything like this to him. He could not believe that this was possible at first, but when he looked more into the matter, it all made perfect sense. We investigated the guy and found out that he indeed was an actor, paid. But when we asked him who had set this up, he didn't disclose anything. I was a bit disappointed. Carter questioned me who could plant such horrible things on us, and I just simply told him that I've been telling him about his grandmother all this time, and he's mostly suspicious of her, but still needs solid proof to be able to come all the way through to believe that she is the one after all this. And guess what I found the perfect evidence? We'll get into details soon. So yes, Carter apologized to me and promised me that he would always support me from now on, no matter what. And I believe him. I've forgiven him for not trusting me when I needed it the most, but I'm very happy that we have sorted things out. I could not have afforded to lose him, you know. And now, getting into the bigger, crazier news, I became rich. Overnight? Yes, I know it's so unbelievable and you guys might be very confused at this point, so what happened was, my grandfather had left everything he owned in my name when he passed away a year ago. My grandfather was a very rich businessman, but because my mother had not wished to continue in his business, and had started a small bakery of her own with my dad, he was pretty disappointed with her. So, instead of transferring the inheritance to his only daughter, my grandparents' will had transferred all his life earnings to, well, me. And well, you guys know how legalities work and whatnot. I was in constant touch with his lawyers throughout it, and I had told no one except Carter about the inheritance money. And guess what? Finally, all the legalities and paperwork were completed after a whole year, and now I'm the owner of a giant mansion and $100,000 in cash. I know, it's so darn unbelievable, but this was not even the fun part. Ever since me and Carter got back together, Kate has been sunken in her sorrows. Carter simply did not want to leave her house alone, so he spent some days at the mansion with her and the rest in the house that we bought together. He's not currently in town, as he has gone overseas for a business meeting, but I can't wait for him to come back. I finally have all the evidence I need to expose his grandmother, but I want to do it in person. So, It seemed only fair to rub my newly acquired money off on the face of the woman who called me, well, not up to her standards. And what else did she say? Oh yeah, a gold digger. So, I went to her mansion to give her the exciting news, and you won't believe the drastic change in behavior towards me. Firstly, when I reached there, she simply shunned me, telling me that, quote, filth like me is not allowed in a royal mansion, LOL. The woman did not know what was coming to her. She went on about how she was not yet given up and she won't resist until she breaks us off because her grandson deserves somebody who can at least afford the lifestyle that he has. And I'm right there smiling at her because, well, I finally gave her the ultimate revelation and you won't believe how fast her reaction changed. When I told her about the mansion and the amount that I've inherited, she couldn't believe it. She thought I was playing some kind of stupid prank on her, but when I showed her the hardcore evidence, the proof, she finally believed me and her behavior changed from cruel to the sweetest being on earth. I even asked her if she still thinks I'm a gold digger after that. At this, she just said she might have misunderstood me at the start and I should let it go. Well, she told me I've become worthy of her grandson and now she won't have any issues with me marrying him. I told her we were going to get married anyhow, but now there's a slight chance that she won't be getting an invite to the wedding. She just laughed it off, and she told me that even if I tell Carter 1,000 times, he will not even think about not inviting me to his wedding. Well, if I was her, I wouldn't be so sure of it. I finally confronted her about the thing I've been meaning to get off of my mouth for a very long time. I asked her if she was the one who had plotted the paid actor upon me to break me and Carter up. She just smiled about it and told me to let the past be in the past and gave me a weird explanation of how it just proved to be good for us that the incident made our bond stronger. Good? How dumb is this woman? It almost broke us up. But, well, I got all I wanted. I had come prepared this time, and a lot of you guys suggested that I should record her while she's not treating me well so that I can expose her double face to Carter. I did that. The audio recorder in my phone was on at the time, and so unintentionally she just climbed herself into the pit that she dug for me. Now, I'm just waiting for Carter to come back home soon so that I can finally give him solid evidence of how his grandmother was trying to break us up just because I was not as rich as her. I can't wait to see how he would respond to this, and will he sever his ties with her, or would he give her another chance? I honestly don't think that woman deserves any other chances after constantly trying to sabotage our relationship, and nobody would be happier than me if she is out of my life for good. But I don't know. Carter let his mind and emotions overcome his reasoning, so we never know. Well, I guess we would just have to wait. Update number 4. Hey guys, I know it's been 2 weeks since I wrote you guys, but the past 2 weeks have been very eventful. So when Carter came back, I gave him the audio recordings, and when he heard them, he was shocked as well as upset. He did not expect the woman he respected so much, the woman he worshipped, to turn out to be so evil. He did not stay shut and went straight to her, and there he got into a huge fight with her. He told her how, well, disgusted he was to favor the woman that's been faking herself for the past few months. The argument just kept getting more heated and heated, and Kate also argued she'd always had his well-being in her mind, and all she had done was for him. She even blamed me for brainwashing her grandson and turning him against her. But Carter took a stand for me once and for all, and retorted that it wasn't him she was doing all these things for, but for her own status, because she did not want to be associated with somebody who was not rich. And it wasn't me who had brainwashed him, but it was actually her, manipulating him all his life with her fake little pretense. He was so disappointed that she only judged every person with the amount of money in their bank account, and what he did next was just so unexpected. He just packed all his stuff and told Kate that he could not live with a woman who could plot such evil schemes without caring about if it hurt him or other people that he cared about. So from now on, she will be dead to him. All of Kate's hopes was shattered, and I guess that she had this coming for her for a long time now. She had always been taking Carter's love and respect for her for granted, and because of that, she thought that Carter would always be there with her no matter what she did. But finally, I guess her eyes have opened, and the truth had struck her that every action has its own consequences, and I think she did this to herself. She was herself responsible for the crying mess that she had now turned into. Although I did not think that Carter would take such extreme measures, I only thought that he would be angry at her for some time, but cutting her off like this was just so unexpected. But he told me that it was necessary because he could not let anything else sabotage or ruin our relationship. So now Kate's living alone in that huge mansion of hers, and she has all the money and all the facilities, but without her devoted grandson, she is just miserable. I guess now she must have realized that money is not all that it's needed to be happy in this lifetime. Love and care is something too, you know. But her condescending personality just led her to lose the only family she's ever had. I think she realizes it too and is very lonely without Carter in her life, because she's been trying to apologize to us and literally begging us to take her back into our lives. But that's what she deserves. Carter's mind is made, and there's no changing his decision anytime soon. She did him so wrong, she did not even think of his feelings when she tried to break us up, so why should he care about her feelings now? As for us, we're getting married next week. Everything is in place, and all the preparations are done, and all the guests are invited except Kate. She did not want this wedding in the first place, right? So why would we invite her? Top comments from the final update. Comment 1 says, "You are downright evil. You're exactly the definition of a homewrecker. Like taking away the only person somebody cares about and turning them against her. This is so messed up. You say she's evil, but you're no saint yourself, so stop playing the victim here, OP." Comment number 2. "Dang, your fiancé is so strong. It takes courage to be able to cut off toxic people from our lives. I've experienced it. My mother was toxic and was always trying to ruin everything good in my life, but I still loved her, so it was difficult for me to cut her off from my life. I struggled a lot, but was finally able to do it. More power to your fiancé, and congratulations on the wedding." So Carter's grandmother, Kate. I could never figure out through this story why in the world she actually hated OP so much. I mean, it was just pure hatred. None of it really made much sense. It all seemed to be pettiness. Well, this pettiness got her separated from Carter at the end of the story because Carter finally found out all the ways that she was acting towards OP. And that was enough. Carter said, "You know what? You're going to be lonely in that giant mansion, and money is not everything in life, and I'll teach you that lesson myself." Guys, let me know if you agree with Carter by cutting off his grandmother. Drop your comments downstairs in the comment section. I want to thank you guys for joining me on today's stories. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories every single day. I hope you enjoyed it. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, share this video with your friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.